કેમ છો બધા? In the last lecture, we have discussed xt graph. Okay, so if we consider xt graph, so xt graph, slope of xt graph represents average velocity, and tan theta is equal to average velocity. Tan theta is equal to y2 by y1 upon t2 by t1. The slope of xt graph represents average velocity. Okay, so we have discussed various types of graph. Here object is in rest position. Here object, okay, so in velocity is infinite. So practically this situation is not possible. Here velocity is uniform because slope is uniform. So acceleration is 0. But here slope continuously increasing. Okay, so velocity increases. Okay. So accelerated motion. So here slope decreases, so velocity also decreases. Motion is decelerated motion. Okay, so here velocity is constant, but direction is, so theta is greater than 90. So direction is negative direction. Okay, so velocity is constant. So here velocity continuously changing in different interval. Okay. So again, in this situation, object is at two different positions at simultaneously. So that is not possible. So this graph is not possible. So here, initially object moves towards the origin, then it moves away from the origin. Okay. So again, this is time distance. So distance is always positive. So portion 0 to A, that is possible. But A onwards, this graph is not possible because distance is always increasing, not decreasing. So up to this we have discussed. So let us solve examples. Okay, so let us solve first example. The position of particle moving along x-axis at certain time is given. So your time and so 0, 3 second, -2, so different position along the x-axis. So which of the following describe the motion correctly? So from this data, now we have to interpret the motion. So already we have prepared the table. Now from the table, now we have to interpret the motion. So motion is uniform accelerated. So accelerated means continuously increasing. Uniform decelerated means decreasing. Non-uniform accelerated variation is not same. So this is not enough data for generalization. So now we have to decide whether this motion is accelerated or not. So accelerated motion. So accelerated motion, it means velocity increases. So velocity increases, it means first we have to calculate the velocity. So velocity v is equal to delta x by delta t. So now in first interval, if we calculate velocity v1 from 0 to 1, so delta x by delta t. So delta x, it means that I can write first step x2 minus x1 upon t2 minus t1. So x2 is 0 minus 2 upon 1 minus 0. So 2 by 1, it means velocity is 2. Here I can write during the interval 0 to 1 second, velocity is 2. Now here we can calculate directly. 6 minus 0 upon 2 minus 1, 1. That is 6. 16 minus 6, 10. 3 minus 2, 1. So 10. So now you can see in first interval velocity is 2, then 6, and then 10. So now if we calculate accelerated, so acceleration A is equal to delta V by delta T. So delta V by delta T, so I can say 6 minus 2 and delta T, so that is 1. So initial acceleration is 4. So I can write in first change in acceleration, so that is 4. Now in second case, 10 minus 6, so 4 minus 1, so again 4. It means acceleration is constant. So in each second, velocity increases by 4 meter per second. So 2, 4, 6, 4, 10, then 4, 14. Okay, it means uniform accelerated motion. The motion is uniform accelerated, because acceleration is constant. Suppose here first answer is 4, second answer is 6, then you can say non-uniform accelerated motion. Okay, uniform decelerated. Okay, suppose velocity decreases, then you can say uniform decelerated, but here answer is uniform accelerated motion. So now you can see the imagination is very important, and this methodology, so always follow this step. After enough practice, no need to do all such things, you can calculate here directly. Okay, so let us see next example. So which of the following graph represents uniform motion? It means uniform means straight line. Okay, so here first velocity increases, then velocity decreases, so not possible. Object is in rest position, but here so velocity continuously changing, so not possible. Here velocity is uniform, so answer is A, uniform motion. Okay, next example. So displacement time graph for two particles A and B are straight line inclined at an angle 60 and 30. Okay, so time xt graph. Okay, so for first and for second, for one angle is 30, for second angle is 60. So like at an angle 30 and 60 with time axis. So with time axis. The ratio of velocity. So ratio of velocity. So VA by VB. So we know the slope of the xt graph represents velocity. So I can say 1030 for first case and second case 1060. So 1030 1 upon root 3. Okay. And 1060 1060. So sine upon cos, I can say root 3. So 1, 2, 3. The answer is 1. Okay, so slope of xt graph represents velocity. Clear? Next example. So from the following displacement time graph, find out the velocity of moving body. So according to this, slope of the xt graph represents velocity. So 1030. So 1030 is 1 upon root 3. So answer is 1 upon root 3. Whenever we come at home, okay, answer is wrong. Why? Because the concept is angle should always with time axis. Okay, it means we have to consider here it is displacement time graph. So angle always it should be with time axis. So if this angle is 30 degree, then with time axis it should be 60. So 1060. So 1060 is root 3. The answer is root 3, not 1 upon root. Okay, so always sharpen your observation power. Okay, so generally you will find such type of simple conceptual example. Okay, so always you will make mistake in the exam. The diagram shows the displacement time graph. So you can see displacement time graph for a particle moving in a straight line. So initially velocity increases, then velocity decreases. The average velocity of for the time interval 0 to 5 second. So 0 to 5 second. So V average that is equal to delta x by delta t x2 minus x1 upon t2 minus t1. So actually no need to write also directly you can write x2 minus x1 upon, or even no need to write this directly, you should be in a position to calculate x2. x2 is minus 10 minus x1 is 0 upon time is 5 minus 1. So directly you have to write this step. Okay, but keeping in mind of all the students I am using these steps. So answer is minus 2 meter per second. So answer is minus 2 meter per second. So average velocity is minus. Okay, So whenever you practice, okay, always use shortcut, but if you have enough confidence, okay. So with confidence, always you will make mistake. So figure shows displacement time graph of the body. Displacement time graph of the body. So what is the ratio of speed? So ratio of speed means always positive. Okay, so sharpen your power. So ratio of speed in the first second and that in the next 2 seconds. So total duration is 3 seconds. So in the first second calculate speed S1. In next 2 seconds calculate speed S2. Okay, so slope of this line represents average velocity, but magnitude represents speed. Okay, so S1, so that is 10, or directly you can calculate velocity x2 minus x1. So I can say 30 minus 0 upon 1 minus 0. So speed is equal to 30. For now S2, okay, again x2 minus x1, but here it is doesn't make any difference because speed. So always we have to consider positive. So you can say 0 minus 30, or you can say 30 minus 0 divided by time. So 3 minus 1, so that is 2. So 15. So 30 divided by 15. So answer is 2 is to 1. Answer is 2 is to 1. Okay, so as 30 minus 0, second case 30 minus 0, but here 1 second, here it is 2 second. Okay, so without calculation also you can do after sufficient practice. Okay, the answer is 2 is to 1. Okay, so next, that is velocity time graph. So already we have discussed slope of velocity time graph represents acceleration. Slope of velocity time graph represents acceleration. Here slope 0, it means acceleration is 0, velocity is constant. Okay, so line parallel to time axis represent that particle is moving with constant velocity. But if it is xt graph, then velocity is constant. It means object is in rest position. Okay, so here next situation. So here acceleration is infinite. It means particle possess infinite acceleration. Okay, so practically this is not possible. So theta 90, velocity increasing and acceleration infinite acceleration. So that is not possible. So now again here acceleration is constant because slope is constant. So theta constant, acceleration constant, velocity is increasing uniformly. Okay, so velocity increasing uniformly. So already we have discussed this case in previous example. Okay, acceleration constant 4. So initially velocity 2, then 6, then 10. So this is the case. The line with constant slope represents uniform acceleration of particle. So here velocity time graph. So slope of the line represents velocity. Okay, so slope of the line represents, slope of VT graph represents acceleration. So now you can see acceleration for case 1, acceleration for case 2. You can see slope increases. So you can see here theta 1 and in second case theta 2. So theta 1 is less than theta 2. It means velocity increases. It means acceleration is increasing. Okay, so accelerated. Okay, so increasing, so acceleration also increases. So line bending towards the velocity axis represent increasing acceleration in the body. So velocity acceleration increasing. Okay, so acceleration is positive. Now think about the acceleration. So think about the slope. So here slope, consider case 1. Okay, initial, suppose take any situation, slope, here slope, and third case slope. So slope initially, slope means angle with horizontal. So you can see angle with horizontal, here theta is equal to 0. So initially it may be 70 to 0. It means theta decreases. It means tan theta decreases. It means acceleration decreases. So acceleration decreases. So theta decreasing, so acceleration also decreasing. So line bending towards the time axis represent decreasing acceleration in body. So here slope is positive, it means acceleration is positive. Okay, again, there is no increase in, there is no change in slope, it means acceleration is constant. Okay, but you can see the initial point, the initial velocity, so initial velocity that is less than 0, it means initial velocity is negative. So positive constant acceleration, theta is less than 90, but initial velocity of the particle is negative. Okay, so initial velocity negative, it means object is moving away from the, okay, or moving in opposite direction, negative x direction. Okay, then it will move in positive x direction. So this interpretation is important. So now you can see slope positive, it means acceleration positive, but initial velocity that is positive. It means we are moving with the speed of 30 km per hour. Now with acceleration, our speed increases in the same direction. Okay, so positive constant acceleration, theta constant. Okay, but initial velocity of the particle is also positive. So here initial velocity of the particle is positive, but acceleration is negative. Acceleration is negative, it means velocity decreases. Okay, it means because of some resistive force. Okay, so negative constant acceleration, but theta constant. So initial velocity of the particle is positive. Okay, here you can see again acceleration negative and initial velocity of the particle that is 0. Okay, so initial particle negative constant acceleration and theta constant, but initial velocity of the particle is 0. So here again acceleration negative, but initial velocity of the particle that is also negative. So initial velocity of the particle is negative, negative constant acceleration. Acceleration is negative. So now again solve the examples. So these examples are very, very interesting. Okay, so here your imagination power is very, very important. The ball is thrown vertically upward. The ball is thrown vertically upward. Which of the following plot represents speed time graph? So speed time graph is given. Okay, so it means here direction is not important. Okay, speed time graph of the ball during its flight if air resistance is not ignored, it means we are not ignoring the air resistance. Okay, now object, so object is thrown in upward direction, so a motion is in positive y direction, and g that is acting in negative y direction. Okay, and suppose if we don't consider the resistance, so if we consider resistance is always in opposite direction, so this is also the direction of resistance. Okay, so now because of resistance and because of acceleration in negative direction, speed decreases. Okay, so you can see speed decreases. So now g is constant, moreover resistance is also constant. Okay, so you can say G plus R. So that is overall constant. So for constant negative acceleration, okay, graph should be straight line. For negative constant acceleration, graph should be straight line. So now think about which line. So here it is straight line, not straight line. So here it is straight line, not straight line. So answer, probable answer, either A or either C. Either A or either C. Okay, so now object is at top position. So at top position, velocity, so that is 0. So speed 0. So here speed 0, speed 0. Now in downward motion, okay, again acceleration and resistance. Resistance is acting in upward direction, acceleration in downward direction. But speed increases. Okay, and this overall this ratio is constant. So answer, so speed increases. So now you can see speed increases. So answer is clear. So answer, so first speed decreases and speed increases. So answer is okay. So next example. So now I am considering the RENEET student. So directly you have to attack the problems. Okay. So now I am giving you the attacking strategy. Up to this I will give you the basic idea. Okay. So now train moves from one station to another station in 2 hours time. So you can see 2 hours time. Its speed time graph. So speed time graph during this motion is shown in the figure. So you can see speed increases, constant increases, decreases. The maximum acceleration during journey. So maximum acceleration means maximum change in velocity or maximum change in speed in a particular time. So maximum speed, maximum change in speed means slope should be more. So where is the slope more? So you can see in the CD slope is more. So directly calculate here. So in the CD, so okay, so in the CD delta V. So delta V is D at 60 minus C, that is 20. So 60 minus 20 time, so that is 1.5, 1.25 minus 1. So 40 divided by 0.25. So 160 kilometer per hour. So 160 kilometer per hour square. So maximum acceleration. Okay, so for maximum acceleration, slope should be maximum. Okay, so maximum deceleration, then again we have to focus on negative side. So in which direction acceleration is 0? So now here you can see acceleration is 0. Okay, so based on the question, now you can give the, okay. So now all of you are enjoying. Okay. The graph of displacement time graph. So the graph of displacement time graph. So its corresponding velocity time graph. So slope of ST graph represents velocity. So now you can see here slope. So slope and compare first and second position. Slope decreases. So theta decreases. Here also. So theta decreases. So velocity should be negative. So here you can see velocity negative, here velocity positive. So here velocity increasing, here velocity increasing. So possible graph is A only because velocity decreases. Okay, it means here we throw the object in upward direction, so speed decreases. But now you can see here velocity or slope is 0. Now again theta increases but in negative direction. So you can see speed velocity increasing, velocity in negative direction. So slope after at this point onwards slope is also negative. Okay, so sorry, from this point onwards slope is negative. Clear? So now you can see, so just if I will change one word instead of velocity, okay, if word is different then graph will change. Okay, so you have to sharpen your skill. Okay, so try to clear your fundamentals. In the following graph, distance traveled by the body in meter. So now calculate distance traveled by the body. So if you want to calculate, so it's a VT graph. So area of VT graph represents distance, and whenever there is a trapezium, so first option convert this in or divide this into 3 parts. Okay, and you can calculate. So that is very easy. Or another option, you can use trapezium equation 1 by 2 A plus B into H. So you can consider 1 by 2 A, 1 by 2 B and height H. So 1 by 2. A is equal to 20 minus 10, 10. B is equal to 0 to 30 plus H. H is equal to 10. Okay. So 40 by 2, 20 into 10, 200. Okay. So distance is 200. The answer is A. Okay, so here you can use the equation of trapezium 1 by 2 A plus B, easily you can do it. Next example, the velocity time graph shown in the figure. So it's a velocity time graph. The distance covered by the body in last 2 seconds of its motion is what fraction of total distance covered by in all 7 seconds. So it is ratio. So it is distance covered in last 2 seconds. So I can say suppose distance covered in last 2 seconds. So I can say S2, and distance covered in total 7 seconds I can say S7. Okay. So first calculate S2 and S7. So S2, so S2 means 5 to last 2 second means 5 to 7. So calculate area of this triangle. So area of triangle 1 by 2. B, base 7 minus 5, 2 into H. So height is equal to 10. So that is S2 is equal to 10. S7, so for S7 I have to consider trapezium. So again for trapezium 1 by 2. B is equal to 5 minus 3. So that is 2 plus H. So from initial to final, so 7 minus 1, okay, 7 minus 1 I can say 6 into height, so that is 10. So 8 by 2, 4 into 10, so that is 40. Okay, so answer 10 by 40, so 1 by 4. So 1 by 4 is correct answer. So remember the equation of trapezium. Okay, or you can use triangle, rectangle and triangle. Okay, so whatever, in whichever way you are comfortable, you can use it. So velocity time graph of body moving in straight line is shown in the figure. Okay, so velocity time graph. The displacement and distance traveled by the body in 6 seconds. So 6 seconds. So velocity time graph or area of velocity time graph represents what? Area of velocity time graph represents, okay, so that represents distance or displacement. Okay, so now first calculate area. So here 0 to 4 and 0 to 2, so 4 into 2, so that is 8. Here you can calculate. So 0 to 2, 4 and 6, 6 minus 2, 2. Okay, 0 to 2, so 2 into 2, so that is 4. Here also you can consider 2 into 2, so that is 4. Okay, but distance, so that is always positive, and displacement, so if area is positive, displacement you have to consider positive. If area is negative, you have to consider negative. So whenever you consider displacement, so that we have to consider net area. So net area, so for displacement, net area, so 8 plus 4 minus 4, so that is 8 meters. So displacement is 8. Okay, but distance, so distance you have to consider everything positive. So 8 plus 4 plus 4, so that is 16 meters. So 8 and 16, so answer is, okay, so first is displacement, second should be distance. If it is asked distance and displacement, then answer should be 16 and 8. Okay, so for displacement consider net area, for distance consider overall area. Now, sir, very important example. I think it is asked in NEET 18. So, ball is thrown vertically upward. Which of the following graph represents velocity time graph of the ball during its flight? So, it's a velocity time graph. Okay. So, already we have discussed. So, when we throw the ball in upward direction, okay, acceleration is acting in downward direction. So in upward direction, velocity decreases. So velocity decreases. So check, velocity decreases. So here velocity not decreases, so velocity decreases. So probable answer either A, B or D. A, B or D. Okay. So now in downward direction, so in downward direction, velocity increases. Okay, in downward direction, speed increases. In downward direction, speed increases. Okay, so now in downward direction, speed increases. So here speed decreases. So if we are in hurry, we will mark answer A. So if I will mark answer A, then my answer is wrong, and correct answer is D. Why? Because it is velocity time graph. If it is speed time graph, okay, then speed increases. I say speed increases. So speed increases, but here velocity is in downward direction. So we have considered positive upward direction. So we have considered upward direction positive, then downward direction it should be negative. So velocity is negative. So velocity increases but in negative direction. So you can see the value increases but it is in negative direction. So answer is, so upward direction positive, downward direction negative. Okay, so object is moving in downward direction. So if upward direction velocity is positive, in downward direction velocity is negative. So we have to consider, so correct answer is B. Correct answer is B. Now again very interesting example. The ball is dropped vertically from the height D above the ground. Okay, so now you can see the ball is dropped vertically above the ground from the height h. So here its velocity increases. Velocity increases. Okay, if we consider downward direction as positive, but speed increases. It hits the ground and bounces up vertically to height d by 2. Okay. So in the second case, after touching the ground, bounces back to the height h by 2. So during this upward motion, speed decreases. In downward motion, speed increases. Neglecting subsequent motion and air resistance, velocity v varies with height h above the ground s. So on one side v and second side h, v and h, v and h. Okay. So now which graph is correct? So whenever we want to decide or we want to identify the correct figure. So first we have to identify the relation between V and H. The relation between V and H. So now you know V square is equal to U square plus or minus 2GH. So if initial velocity is 0, we can say V square is proportional to H. So from this you can say the graph is parabola, not the straight line. Okay, y is proportional to x square or x is proportional to y square. So graph should be parabola. If it is y is equal to x, so that is a straight line. So already I have explained all such things in mathematics, in physics. Okay, so if you have not gone through, so please go through this 6 lecture throughout the week. Okay, so you can see daily one lecture. So if you will see all this lecture, your concept will be clear. And for graphical problems, this mathematics is very important. So it means answer C is not possible. Answer C is not possible. So now answer should be, it should be cow. So answer either A, B or D. Okay. Now you can see H is proportional to V square. So initially velocity, okay, so you can see, so starting from the top, okay, so starting from the top, so ball is dropped vertically from the height h. Okay, so when height h is equal to 0, it has maybe some velocity. Okay, so with increase in height, so when height h is equal to 0, so initially where we have to start, so that is the question. Okay, so initially at height h is equal to 0, velocity is 0. So when height h is equal to 0, velocity is 0. So this is the perfect point. Okay, so here you cannot, if this is, here you can see, so starting point when height h, velocity is 0. So with decrease in height, velocity increases but in negative direction. So now you can see velocity decreases in negative direction. So here, so that is not possible. Here, so this is also not possible. So answer should be only A. So velocity decreases in negative direction. So at junction, okay, again velocity increases. Okay, but now object moves in opposite direction. So object moves in opposite. So we have considered this direction and the in opposite direction. Again velocity decreases. Here velocity increases. So velocity decreases. Okay, so now you can see correct answer is here velocity increases in both the case, so that is not possible. Here velocity decreases in both the case, so this is also not possible. Okay, so first velocity increases but in negative direction. Here also velocity decreases. Okay, so answer either answer A or C. Okay, here you can see velocity decreases, here also velocity decreases. Here velocity increases but in negative direction. But v square is equal to h. If you know this relation, then your correct answer is A. By mistake, you can make correct answer C. Okay, but if you know this relation, if you know this technique, so whenever you want to find the relation, always recall. Enjoying? મજા આવે છે ને? ઓકે, તો કેવા કન્સેપ્ટ જોઈએ સમજાઈ ગયું? આગળ આપણે જે બધી એક્સરસાઇઝ કરી હતી એ ના કરી હોત તો અહીંયા આન્સર દેવામાં પ્રોબ્લેમ્સ થાત. ત્યારે તમને એવું લાગતું હશે કે આ સર બેઝિક્સ ભણાવે છે. ઓકે, બટ બેઝિક્સ આર વેરી વેરી ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ ઇન ધ ફિઝિક્સ. ઓકે, the acceleration time graph of the body is shown below. This is acceleration time graph, xt, vt and at. So this is acceleration time graph. So you can see acceleration continuously increases. Acceleration continuously increases. The most probable velocity time graph. So here you can see velocity acceleration increasing at constant rate. So I can say acceleration increases, it means acceleration is proportional to time. So I can say acceleration is increases at constant rate. So acceleration is equal to kt. Acceleration is proportional to t. So acceleration is equal to kt. Okay. Now I want to find velocity time graph. So for the graph I need relation. So acceleration is dv by dt. So dv by dt is equal to kt. So now I can write dv is equal to kt dt. So now integrate. So for integration of 1, so that is velocity. Integration of t, so that is t square by 2. So v is proportional to t square. V is proportional to t square. So it should be a parabola. Y is proportional to x square. So here also velocity increases but straight line. Here velocity decreases because slope continuously decreasing. Here slope increases, so velocity increases. Acceleration is also positive. Okay, so here also increases but straight line, so it should be a curve. So answer is C. Answer is C. Now again here you can see acceleration at time t. Here is acceleration 0. So now you can see slope 0. So again it is correct answer. So correct answer is C. Okay. So now here acceleration is proportional to time. To find the velocity, use integration. V is proportional to t square. Y is proportional to x square. So answer should be parabola. Identify parabola. So it is also parabola, but here velocity decreases. Sorry, velocity increases but acceleration is negative. Okay, here velocity increases, acceleration is also positive. So answer is C. So which of the following velocity time graph is not possible? So here straight line, straight line, straight line. Here at particular time object is at two different position. Okay, so object is at two different positions. So if you want to check, then draw vertical line. So two positions. So that is not possible. So answer D. Okay, so which of the following velocity time graph is not possible? Answer is D is not possible. For a certain body, the velocity time graph is shown in the figure. The velocity time graph is shown in the figure. The ratio of applied forces for interval AB and BC. So force AB during the interval AB and during the interval BC. So ratio of forces. The ratio of forces, that of velocity time graph. How can we find ratio of forces? So force is equal to mass into acceleration. So ultimately we have to find acceleration or average acceleration during AB, average acceleration during BC. So now acceleration. So acceleration. So the slope of VT graph represents acceleration. So slope of VT graph. So slope of during AB. So slope is equal to 30. So I can write 10 30. Okay. During BC, so during BC, slope is equal to 60. So slope is equal to 60. So I can write 10, 60. Slope is equal to 60. I can write 10, 60. Am I correct? Am I correct? Whenever we consider slope, okay, we have to consider angle. So angle should be positive time axis. So if this angle is 60, so this angle, so that is 20. So I have to consider 10, 120. Not, I have to consider 10, 120. Okay. So 10, 30. So 10, 30. So that is 1 upon root 3. 1030 is 1 upon root 3. So 10, 120. So now if you gone through the mathematics in physics, so for 120 angle you have to observe at 60. Okay, so 1060. So that is root 3. So here it is minus root 3 because in the second quadrant 10 function is minus. So take the value 60 and take the signature for second quadrant. So I can say minus root 3. So root 3 into root 3, 3. So minus 1 upon 3. So answer is minus 1 upon 3. So here it should be minus 1 upon 3 because 1 by 2, 1 by 2, 1 by 3, 1 by 3. So answer is D, minus 1 by 3. So don't make mistake. Angle always should be positive time axis. So vector A and vector B. So you have to consider this 120 angle, not. So if you have considered 60 angle, then answer is 130C and you will lose one more mark and that is minus 5. So now you know why, okay, why, what is the importance of negative marking. So velocity time graph of two cars which start from the rest at the same time. So velocity time graph, car A, car B start from the rest. So initial velocity is 0, correct, are shown in the figure. Graph shows that the initial velocity of A is greater than initial velocity of B. So for initial velocity, okay, you have to consider, you have to draw a slope at initial point. Acceleration in A is increasing at lesser rate than B. So for acceleration, you have to consider slope of graph. So acceleration in A, so theta A and theta B. So slope theta A is greater than theta B. So slope is greater, it means acceleration is greater. So acceleration in A is greater than B. So acceleration in A is greater than B. Yes, that is possible. Acceleration in B is greater than, no, that is not possible. So acceleration in A is increasing at lesser rate than in B. So now for that we have to consider slope at various position. So you can see here acceleration increasing at faster rate. The acceleration in A is increasing at lesser rate, not at lesser rate, at faster rate. You can see here acceleration in A increasing at faster rate than B. So answer A is not. Initial velocity is greater, the initial, that is same for all. Okay, so initial velocity of A is greater than initial velocity of B. That is wrong because starting from the 0. Okay, so our correct answer is, okay, so theta A is greater than theta B. So acceleration in A is greater than, okay. Which one of the following graph represents velocity of steel ball which falls from the height on to a marble? Okay, have V represents velocity of the particle and T is the time. Okay, so when we drop a ball on the marble, so initial, okay, velocity, speed increases, but in negative direction velocity decreases. So here velocity decreases, here velocity increases, not possible. Velocity is not possible, here also velocity increasing, not possible. Okay, so here you can see velocity decreases. Now after striking, ball will move in upward direction. Okay, so again speed, so now you can see speed, velocity decreases. Okay, so answer, correct answer is, so initially velocity increasing at constant rate. Here it is not constant rate. So again, this graph is also not. The answer is A. The adjoining curve represents velocity time graph. So velocity time graph of particle. So its acceleration value along OA, AB and BC. So acceleration along OA. So acceleration, now we know shortcut delta V by delta T. So directly I can write delta V. So that is 10 minus 0 upon delta T. So that is 10. So acceleration is 1. So 1, 1, 1, 1 everywhere. In B, constant means 0. So 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0. So answer A, B or D. Okay, now third case. Okay, so here delta V, so final velocity, so that is 0. Initial velocity, so that is 10. So 0 minus 10 upon 40, 30 minus 20. Okay, so 40 minus 20, so that is 20. So I can say minus zero point 0.5. Answer is minus 0.5. So answer is A. Answer is okay. Done. So I hope all of you are enjoying. Okay. So now you have mastery on graphical questions. Now you can attempt any question on graphical base, but focus on NEET or AIMS examples. Okay, don't focus on JEE example. But again, you can go through the ask examples in JEE 10 to 20. Okay, so that is beneficial to you. Okay, so already we have our Telegram channel. Okay, on our Telegram channel, regularly we upload solution of example asked in NEET and JEE from 2010 to 2020. Okay, so you can join our Telegram channel. So that is physics, a game changing. Okay, so you can suggest this channel to your friend also. Thank you very much.